questions for our panellists. Please don't be shy. As we heard before, there's no silly questions, there's no dumb answers and that sort of thing. So there might be a few dumb answers, but I'm not quite sure. But there's plenty of opportunities now to ask the questions that you need to ask. So the floor is yours. So please don't be shy. If you've got a question, please just whip your hand up. I'll start. That's good. We'll start with you first, Celeste. We're out of here. As a sports journalist, I think I've got the best job in the world. My second favourite job would be in donuts. My third favourite would be in pizza. So you're covering my top three. How did you have the courage to leap from pizza into donut, and what were some of the strategies involved there?
Definitely the courage came from Tom. Tom has probably been one of my biggest supporters since I met him back when I was 15. So I think the other realisation was that the skills that I'd learnt after being in Eagle Boys for nearly 20 odd years was transferable. The product was different, yeah, but all the fundamentals were the same. I knew how to serve customers. I knew how to run a team. I knew what cost of goods meant. I knew how to read a P&L. Like, all of those things were just fundamentally what you learnt in business. And whilst I guess Pizza Guardians was my first foray into owning a small business, I had all the fundamental skills. So leaping into donuts it was scary because it was something I hadn't done before, but it was not as challenging as I expected because I already had the fundamental skills there to do it.
Well, that's the thing. One of the common themes with all of our speakers is about just giving it a crack, giving it a go, isn't
100%.
it? Yep. Any other questions? Certainly.
So I'm really new in my business since March last year. I started a health and safety consultancy. So for me, I deliver a service, and I'm a health and safety professional. I'm not a business professional, so I'm not qualified to be a business owner. What are some, one big tip that would help someone that knows nothing about business and still learning? I know you gave some really good tips about, don't be afraid to fail. I'm definitely not afraid of that, but the business side of things.
Maybe find someone that's doing what you envisage you see yourself doing, and take them out for a coffee and have a chat, and just talk to people that are, in your eyes, successful in doing what you want to do, and people will love to share. Yeah, just ask the questions of how they got to that place.
Yeah, I was going to go back to what Gavin said earlier about how when he was going into the sports club, sitting down with all the bigwigs of different sports clubs and Tom as well, and sitting down and just chatting with them about what they want to do. And same for you, Chris, find the leaders in that profession that you want to be in and just see how they got it done and go down that road. I mean, you're not backwards and coming forward, so, grab the ball by the horns and go for it, mate.
And not even just in the profession that you're in. That's the product, but the actual delivery and the all the other core things behind it are very similar no matter what you're doing. So it's that success factor. Find out what people are doing and what works for them.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Thanks, Kirsty. And never underestimate who wants to help. People love to help. I mean, if you think about it, if someone reached out to you and said, can you give me a hand with this, and it's something that you're good at, you wouldn't hesitate. So I think often we tend to be on the back foot or feel it's a bit vulnerable to ask for help. But when we do, it's actually even the science shows that the connection, the oxytocin goes up for the giver and the receiver. So, the science is even there. Ask for help.
Gav, obviously been at the top of the elite sport and now doing extremely well in business. What are some of the similarities between those two different aspects of your life?
I think they're pretty similar, to be honest. You have to fight for selection. You have to fight to be recognised. Business is the same. You have to fight and you actually have to. You have to think that, you have to work harder than everyone else. And that's the big key, is that my big thing is while people are resting, I'm working. When I say working, and you've got to enjoy what you're doing too. That's the big thing, is that you find something that you really like and you'll tend to work harder because you enjoy it. So, sports and business, I believe, are very similar in how you work hard, good things happen. So.
And certainly, Celeste, one of those things between sport and business is something like those tough conversations that we were talking about. And as business owners, you can see that people shy away from that aspect, but embracing that and being able to go through those tough conversations is a really important part, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know, can anyone hear me?
It's for our reporting. So Jason can hear you very well.
Yeah, you definitely need.
Thanks, Jason. So look, I think when I think back in my career, and it's the leaders that I've had who front up things that are going on, who are prepared to say, look, in a compassionate way, look, I've noticed they've seen me struggling in something, or, I'm a bit slow on something or whatever, like, what's going on for you? And open the door to a conversation. And at one level, I'm being held accountable, but in a compassionate way. And it helps me and it helps them. And it keeps that two-way, that keeps that communication channel open. So I think when we have the skills to do that, it just creates safety. I mean, there's a lot we hear these days about psychological safety, and the flow-on effect of that is that we get people involved putting input into the group and into our team that may not have done it because they're afraid that it's going to be a silly idea, or it's going to be judged, or, that inner critic that gets in the way. But it could be the best idea. Like, some of the most outlandish ideas have shown to be the most amazing ones in the context of a team. So when everyone can speak freely and can put their meaning into the pool, we can come up with well-beating ideas. So I think I probably overdid it.
You certainly can.
So my question is a really curious question, because Nathan and I have been in business for 10 years, and I'm always curious to understand what keeps other people up really late at night, like midnight, 1 a.m, 2 a.m. Because I know what it is for me, and I'm curious what it is for you all as business owners.
Usually that's when I'm getting up.
Oh yeah, and you're not getting up to
Look, usually if I'm getting up, if something is keeping me awake, to me it's usually rostering, trying to find the people to, especially if I'm going to markets and stuff like that. Like at the moment I'm doing a lot of travel with Emerald Billawheeler and a few other outsourced markets. And if I can't find the stuff, that's me pulling a 17-hour day, being on the road, potentially tired. So there's a lot of those sort of things that I think it's more the safety and the rostering aspect of it, making sure my staff are safe or can jump into the shop and let me go out and do what I need to do. So that keeps me awake more than anything, I think.
I think for me, it's poor planning is what's keeping me up at night, to be honest. Not getting things quite the way I want them to be. Like it was 12:30, I think, this morning. Alison didn't even hear me come home last night. And that's just simply just trying to catch up, trying to do, my staff will tell you that I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to be all to everyone. And that is often the case. And that's something that I've got to work on. And it's not healthy to be doing that. I'm certainly a lot better at it, but it will happen from time to time. You just can't avoid it.
Yeah, hand it over.
Thanks, Brad. So for me, I think it's the times that I find myself awake around midnight is when I have not followed my own boundary of getting off screens before 6 o'clock. And my brain's still going, but it's still wired from that blue light as well. And I think that's the thing that gets in my way. And it's really hard, as I'm sure everyone would be in agreement that when you've got a deadline the next day, there are times when you just have to burn the midnight oil, but it's just not sustainable. So if I notice that, I have pushed a bit too hard, then it's that awareness to notice, okay, well, I can't keep backing up like this and how can I get to bed a bit earlier? How about you, Gavin?
No, this is probably going to be a really weird answer, but to be honest, the thing that keeps me up at night is disappointing people and friends and family. So I try and make certain I try and get everything done to try and make certain tradespeople are happy, families happy, and if you can do that, I just try and think of things that needs to be done to try and make someone's job easier and make everyone's job easier. And if you can think of all them, that's kind of the things that goes in my head. And I know that's probably not a like a business type answer, but again, if you can try and make your staff happy, making sure you get stuff done for people to make their job easier and for them to have a good time at work, then they'll make your life a lot easier. So it's kind of, that's the big thing that I try and think, okay, say Inferno, Jimmy, he needs this stuff done, try and get this done for him, try and get this done. It's like Flamingos at the moment, we've got about 400 trades going there about what needs to be done, what needs to be done, what needs to be done to try and make their life easy. So in the end, when you got that week, an opening in 2 weeks, everyone works together. So that's probably my answer.
Second part of that question I asked, what do you do to try and switch off from work?
For me at the moment, for me at the moment, it's I joined archery. So I joined the full draw field. You can never get their name right. Full draw field archers, and bought myself a compound bow and found that just the serenity of being in a place where there is no dough machine running, or fryer, or the hum of the exhaust fan. Look, that's something that Daniel and I quite enjoy, because there isn't a lot that him and I get to do together. So Oscar that's my 11-year-old. He's sound and sleeping at home at 7 a.m. When we get up, we deliver the donuts down to Cocoa Brew, and then we cycle back and we stop in at the archery and we shoot for an hour and a half or two and just chill. Nothing more satisfactory than a bullseye at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Where is that Facebook photo, Chef?
It's coming.
I'm expecting one.
All right.
That's a tough one for me because I've spent my whole life trying to find that what is my thing that I do to relax. Unfortunately, it's work. I do enjoy what I do, but I'm constantly trying to find a way to separate it all, I suppose. And you've got to be careful not to keep thinking, I'll do that when, I'll do that later, I'll do that when I finish this, because you never do. There's always something else that comes along and grabs you by the proverbials and wants your attention. So that's just a work in progress for me at the moment, unfortunately.
So I feel very blessed that my husband and I have a little farm near Mount Larkin, and that's my happy place. I get to disappear out there on the weekend, and the flexibility that my business does give me is that I can work away, like anywhere, unless I'm doing face-to-face work. So, we bought some new heifers last week and they were all a bit of an unruly mob, so I got to handle them all week this week and run a little finishing school for them. And that feels... And I have to say, there was one, and she's mad. She's always got her head up, looking around and being unruly. My husband and I shared that we actually both had simultaneous thoughts of what she'd look like in the crosshairs and on the plate. But anyway, she's still on 4 legs now, so that's me.
We used to have cows on Frenchville Road, but until they got out and the police were chasing them in the creek and and coming down Frenchville Road with signs, cows ahead, was not really a great thing, so we got rid of them. For me, I play a little bit of computer games. I actually enjoy what I do. I'm a bit of it's probably not a great thing, a social binge drinker. I like having a good time every now and again. I don't usually come home and just say, I would like 1 or 2 beers. We come home and we have 7 or 8 and we just have a bit of a good time together. And it just, and it's just, I just enjoy time with. I love going to the basketball. We support the Rockets and the Cyclones. I just love it, and I actually get an absolute kick out of coaching junior sport and seeing kids and adults improve, and just seeing them, the joy on their faces when they're actually learning and having a great time is something that I really get a kick out of, and also from the sports club side of you, and someone like when they hold their annual meetings and you see people getting presented with stuff and just that community aspect. I love my community, and I just I get kicks out of that. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Well, that probably leads me into my next question: is as business owners, getting back to the community and supporting initiatives like Do It for Dolly and that sort of thing. Why is that so important to you as business owners to get involved in those sort of things?
Yep. Okay. Why wouldn't I support the community that supports me? At the end of the day, they're the guys that I'm asking to come in and buy donuts and keep my business afloat. And in the same token, that allows me to then be able to do things like that. The Achievement Awards, the fundraising program, Do It for Dolly, other numerous fundraising events that we get involved in. It's all about giving back to those who give to us. And they do. They come in droves and we love it. But yeah, I think the Achievement Award program is just my favourite thing.
I find, look, I'd love to be doing more myself for things, but just find that, you get too busy, you've always got excuses, whatever. So we try and support companies that are out there doing things like the Shelter Collective, Capricornia Rescue Helicopter, the Chamber. We give our time and our support, pro bono to sort of help those people out with stuff, because we just don't have. I'd love to do more, and if I can find things, I'll do more. But initially, that's the best way that we can sort of help.
So I like being able to help the groups that are out there doing on the ground, like St Vincent de Paul. So there's people that are giving out a lot of compassion and care for others, and it's a bit like what I can relate to in nursing, and this is something we see. It's a phenomenon called compassion fatigue, where we're focused on others and caring for them and not looking after ourselves, and we can't keep giving from an empty cup, and we can all take a leaf out of that book, I think. If we don't look after ourselves, we don't show up for others. So for me, I love being able to help people who are really giving a lot at the moment. There's just so many people who are suffering in terms of not having a roof over their head or their relationships or whatever's going on for them. So if I can run a workshop that can help give them some tools, that really, I really feel good about that. That's something that not everyone has the skills to do. So that's my thing.
For me, I wasn't the coolest kid at school, and the sport. My wife she was pretty cool at school. So sport has given me everything I believe in my life. So it's given me the skills for business. It's given me my wife and my 2 kids. So for me is if I can give back a little bit of what it's given to me, that's really the philosophy that I live by with my thing, is just trying to give back a little about. Yeah, because I owe everything to sport, I know, and because sport gives you confidence, gives you the ability to work with teams. You can talk to people. It's given me all of my skills, and if I can share a little bit about that back, that's my philosophy on it.
There's no other.
I'd like to ask about the 80-20 rule and how you handle the issue that staff seem to only do 80% of what you do. And I have a follow-on question after that, if that's okay. How do you come to terms with it?
I guess for myself, I rely heavily on the casual workforce, as a lot of small businesses do. I've come to the realisation that I'm biting the bullet and I'm about to put on 2 more full-time workers, because at the moment I'm paying them for a full-time hours, and I think they should be rewarded for that. So I'm going to offer them full-time. I guess at the end of the day, I'm asking them to do something very different to what I can do. I want them to be in the grunt work. I want them to be able to do my shop so that I can leave and work on my business. So I don't mind that they don't do enough or don't do what I can do, because I think we have a very specific skill set. No one will have the passion to get up at midnight to start baking 4,000 donuts. No one will have the passion to go out and drive 2.5 hours to Emerald to do a market after already working 10 hours in the shop. And I wouldn't ask them to, because that's not their burden to bear, that's mine. I'm the one that signed up for that, not them. They signed up to collect a paycheck and walk in and walk out. So I expect them to, for want of a better word, I expect them to give a shit. As in, I expect them to be proud of the product they put in my cabinets. I expect them to turn up to work with an attitude of, I'm here for the next 4 hours, I'm here for the next 8 hours, but whatever I'm here for, I'm going to do my best at. So do I expect them to be able to field all the questions I field with customers, to set up all the stuff I do? No, I don't. I guess that's where it settles with me, is I'm not expecting them to do that. I'm expecting them to do something else that takes the burden off me to do that part so that I can do the other parts.
It's staff is a minefield, and I've had 2 guys with me, one for 8 years, one for 4 years, and I discovered just recently, we relocated our offices, the importance of communication when you're doing, things are changing, and these are guys that were very set in their ways, and I uprooted them and moved them, and I didn't realise how much you need to plan with your team what you're doing and involve them in what you're doing. I've been very much a solo person doing what I do, and I've just got so busy that I've had to get other people to help me. So even having been doing what I'm doing for so long, I'm still learning that you've got to work with your team. And as Kirsty said, at the end of the day, they're there to get a paycheck. And you're the individual that has the passion, the drive, and you can't expect them to do that, because if they did, they'd go out and do it themselves. And I'm not adverse to that. If people, I'm happy if people, to encourage them, especially in the hairdressing industry, that was rife with kicking them out of the nest so they could go on and do other things. But I think having a clear idea of what it is you want from them and explaining it to them, and finding that happy place that as long as everyone knows what they're expected to do. There'll be times when you're never getting what you want out of them. Like there's times when I walk in the office and I think, what are you guys doing? But then there are other times where they go above and beyond. So it's that finding that balance and not knowing it's not going to be right every day.
I'm just soaking it all up because it's just me, myself and I. I can complain all I like.
Yeah, nice. If you're doing 80, it doesn't matter. You can complain about the other 20 to yourself. For me, the 80-20 is that I think the biggest thing for me is when you're recruiting, you have to really set the boundaries, that black and white, because if you're not clear on those boundaries, that's when the 80-20 becomes very clear straight away. Whereas if you get your philosophy right of the person that you want, and they understand the expectations, the 80-20 might come later on down the track rather than almost immediately. The other big thing is making sure that the 80-20s, you try and set expectations around what's acceptable and what's not, because I describe it as cancer in a workplace. If you have one person that is not doing the right thing or pushing boundaries, when I say pushing boundaries, just taking longer or not turning up or turning up late, then all of a sudden other people see that, and then all of a sudden it becomes a norm rather than a standard. So we try and make sure we have really black and white standards and make certain that they're there, and if you don't meet those standards, then this isn't the place for you. But in saying that, it sounds really strict, but on the other side of it is that if you get those really good people, that you're making sure that you're having work dues afterwards and try and make certain people are happy, because generally the 20 doesn't creep in if you have happy people, and that's the fine juggling act to make certain you have a happy workforce to try and stop that 20. But you'll always get one or two that slip through the cracks that you think as well, but you don't really know people until you have them for a fair while. So the interviewing process is massive for me. Not really on paper. It's about the type of person they are and their type of ethics and where they come from. That's the thing that I look for to try and cut that 20 out to as least as possible.
My follow-up question to that is, as all business owners do, we work long hours to make it work. Is that sustainable in your business? And do you have an exit strategy as to whether you can pass that on to somebody else and expect them to do the same thing? Or sell it to somebody? What's your exit strategy?
My exit strategy is I don't have one. Not yet anyway. I'm still enjoying, I guess I'm still building the business. Like, we're only 3 years in to building Galactic into what I think could be a very long career for myself. Have I got everything right yet? No, I'm still trying to replace the manager I lost in October. I finally got a girl who, like, now I'm just teaching the fundamentals of just literally making donuts and the operations of the store, and I hope to move her into a position where I can start to take some time back. But I guess for an exit strategy, no, it's a good question. I don't really have one yet. And that's probably because I'm still working out how I can make it the best business that I can do. How can I get the most out of this experience while I'm still young enough to pull 14 or 15 hour days, and also have a very forgiving husband.
Exit strategy, no, I don't at the moment. I always went through business thinking I never wanted to retire, I never wanted to grow old, I wasn't going to wear out. But I'm 60 this year and I'm certainly finding stairs to be a challenge. I don't think I could sell, or look, if someone wanted to come along and offer me a lump of money, I would probably take it, but I don't see that happening. My goal is to work towards having my business that it's self-sufficient, that I can sit back. I liken myself to an actor. You know, an actor never stops. Their roles become less and less and they become more able to pick what they do. So I'd like to see that as into my future, is that I can have my business, that it can run itself, it can be self-sustained. I don't think my kids are interested in it. So yeah, ultimately, no, I don't have a plan, but I'm becoming more and more aware of it every day.
Thanks, Brad. I think I still want to be doing this when I'm 80, if I'm capable, because I'm really passionate about it. Having said that, I have named the business not with my own name, thinking that, you know, if it got to that capacity, I could. And there was an interested party that wanted to buy the business, they could, or I can outsource work to other coaches to help me to actually do the work. So that's sort of, where I'm at the moment, but I'd love to still be doing this kind of work, whether I contract back to my old business in the future or not. I'm happy to see where it leads, but still very much on this sort of level at the moment.
I think community and sport's always in my blood, so I'm going to be doing that for a long time. I think till that dirt gets put on, I think I'll be doing it until then. So, because I just love community and sport that much. I know Tanya's tried to walk away from netball numerous times, but keeps on getting the old hook. You just keep on getting dragged back in. So that side of things. No, business side of things, obviously with a few different businesses, you're always looking at opportunities, exits. And so, I mean, I've got my 2 daughters involved in 2 businesses at the moment. So everything's about family. So hopefully that they would want to they've expressed that they love what they do, which is a great thing as a parent, because you live for your kids, and all you try and hope to do is that they find something that they love and that they be successful, and then I consider that job done type thing. So that's for me. But on the other side of things, Obviously, we're just starting off on ventures, and you just, to me, his life is you just don't know where things are going to take you at times. So you can say that you're going to stop doing something or not, but you just don't know. I know your Ultratune journey was you had a number of them, and you've sold it, and you just don't know where. You just don't know where life takes you sometimes. So you can plan as much as you like at times, but I know with community and sport, that's going to be with me forever.
If there isn't any more questions, I've learned so much from you guys this afternoon. Hopefully everybody else has. And if you could put your hands together for our wonderful panellists. And I think it's time now we give out some prizes. I heard Tanya at the back getting the tickets ready, so get your tickets out.